Welcome to the 5-Star Weekend official podcast. I'm Elin Hilderbrand, best-selling author of 32 novels, including The 5-Star Weekend, which inspired the original Peacock show we're here to talk about. Each episode, I want us to feel like we're going on a long weekend to Nantucket to unpack all the joy, the drama, and of course, the food in Hollis and her stars trip. Now, like Hollis, I love a good itinerary. So here's what's on the docket for our first episode. We're talking about the season premiere entitled Friday Arrivals. First, I'll be joined by the star and executive producer of the show, our very own Hollis Shaw, Jennifer Garner. Plus, Jen and I will play a little game called What's Your 5-Star Weekend? Then we'll say hello to our second amazing guest, showrunner and writer Becca Brunstetter. And finally, I'll be answering your questions about the 5-Star Weekend in Book Talk, presented by On the Rocks, bartender-created cocktails. Let's get on to my conversation with Jennifer Garner.
Hi, Chelsea, it's me. What was the Phases of Life Friends thing again? I think I'm gonna do it this weekend on Nantucket. Okay, Henry and I are heading there now.
Jennifer Garner,
hi,
welcome to the show.
Yes,
Thank
I'm so
you for
happy to
coming.
see you, of
I'm
course.
so happy to be here. Okay, so let's start out. Why don't you tell me what drew you to Hollis? I'm so grateful to you for doing this part, but what was it about Hollis that drew you to the show?
Your writing, your sense of character and story and how much happens. I read the book and I kept expecting it to go one way.
Right.
I kept thinking I kept thinking, is this going to get cheesy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kept surprising me by deepening and being just so much more than and I apologize because I was already a fan of your work.
Right.
But I just I didn't want to get my hopes up in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah,
you just think, well, can it really be? Oh, I don't know. And then I just totally fell for it and was 100% in.
Well, thank you. That is a big compliment because, I think there are like tropes or, cliches that you can fall into when you have a group like a girls' trip, right? And I wanted to avoid all of those and make it like real connection so that you felt that is amazing.
I mean, it's just very clear in the way that you wrote this book. And seeing you interact in your own life, I can see the depth and how real your friendships are and how complicated they are and how, how they're grown up and mature and they have all kinds of things happening in history and all of that is very true in your writing.
And Jen has been to my house, so she's seen it all. Okay, so we both host fake cooking shows. So mine is called Cringe Cooking, and Dawson, my son Dawson, whom you know,
of course
named
I know
it Cringe Cooking because it was so embarrassing for him and I don't even appear on the screen in mine. I just film it with a camera as I'm doing it, but I do it periodically, and I started during the pandemic, and yours is called the Pretend Cooking Show. So how much of the Pretend Cooking Show made you think, oh, I want to do this role? Like, was there any connection between your love of cooking and doing the show?
Well, for sure. But for me, what I realized while we were shooting those cooking scenes is that there's so many things I've kind of learned how to do for my job over the last 30 years. I've learned how to use different weapons. I've learned how to fight. I've learned how to use a stethoscope or to give a shot or to look like I'm hitting a golf ball, which I cannot do.
Right.
So many things. This was the first time I had ever done something like this where it was like, oh, I know how to do this. I know what it feels like, how much salt should go into this pan without having to. Like, I know how to handle this dough. I know how to scoop with a spatula. It just was like, I feel like I'm competent for once in my life.
Right. Isn't that so funny?
Yeah.
Okay, but talk a little bit about your Pretend Cooking Show. So how did you start it?
Well, I joined Instagram in 2017 with Mo Grosser, who's worked for me for 13 years. Yeah, forever. And I just said, okay, look, she was my assistant at the time. And I said, she had gone to film school at Northwestern. I said, guess what? You are now a social media person. You're shooting and editing and doing this. So good, have fun. And so it was just like, how am I going to do this that makes sense to me,
Right,
and
right.
that is open, but that it doesn't expose my kids and things
Right,
that I'm
right,
not
right, right.
that I'm not comfortable with.
Right.
So one thing that I love more than anything is, the old Food Network, like
Yes.
Ina Garten.
Sure.
Old Martha Stewart before
Yep.
she had talk shows, and she
Yep.
it was called In the Kitchen with
Yep.
Martha.
Yep. I used to watch it.
Yeah. Well, those things, they
Sarah
really do
Moulton,
teach
yeah.
you how to cook.
Yeah.
And so I love them. And I just wanted to do an homage to Barefoot, to my friend Ina.
Okay.
Really.
Wonderful. So it's so funny because when I was writing the character of Hollis, I had someone like Ina
Yeah.
in mind, right? Like the way, in fact, if you read the description in the book, she wears like that certain like shirt and the
With the
earrings. And I'm
collar
like,
and-
it's
yeah.
so Ina. Did you talk with her about this show or channel her in any other way when you were playing the part?
Yeah, I've definitely told her that I was doing it. And she read the book right away and was like, oh, this is perfect for you. You're going to have so much fun. So she's just the best.
Okay, so there's Hollis on the page, and then there's the Hollis that you give us in the show.
Yeah.
Were there any differences, or how did you find your version, I guess, of Hollis? Like, how did you get inside?
Well, Hollis is in large part defined by her relationships.
Okay.
Her relationship with her daughter, which is, all of these relationships go through so much in the course of our show, and particularly who she is with her husband.
Right.
And who she was, and how her memory is opening up to things she wasn't letting herself see, and that grief kind of cut her off from being able to see right after his passing, and what she's realizing about herself in that process. And that tells her about herself as a mom. It tells her about herself as a friend. And all of her friends in different ways are are saying, hey, Hollis, you're kind of closed off in this way. Hollis, you are shut down in this way. So she has to confront herself.
Right. It's so, so interesting. I mean, the fact they keep saying that. They keep saying, you're not dealing with it. You're not dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and I'm like, how is she going to respond to that? Because she doesn't even realize.
Yeah.
She doesn't even realize it.
She had a blind spot. I mean, we all do
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah. So the core of the story is friendship, and all the stars are played by the most amazing actors, truly.
Most amazing.
What was it like? Okay, I feel like when I met you in June of this past year and we did the table read,
Yeah.
you didn't know the people
Yeah.
that you were acting with,
No, we didn't know each other.
which is funny because the regular public thinks that all famous people know each other. Okay, I'm just telling you that.
Really?
Yes.
Well, now it's like the most active group chat on my phone.
Okay,
is
it
the
is.
five of us.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay, tell me how that relationship developed and the kinds of things that you did that like made it so much fun.
Working together, you form these friendships just out of being in the trenches together.
Right.
You've seen enough now,
Sure.
so you know the hours, and
Sure.
you know that, whenever you see people who are up against it, and you do, as wonderful and cushy and fun and as our jobs are, you are pushed up against your comfort zone
Right.
pretty consistently.
Right.
And the five of us just handled those moments together as a group
Okay.
in a really supportive, loving way.
Okay.
So that if somebody was feeling scratchy about something, we all gave each other the room to be ourselves and to kind of love each other through any moments that anyone had, and I don't know, there was just a real sisterhood there. There was very,
it
very
obviously
comforting.
didn't happen on day one of set, right? Was it something like, do you remember a moment when it sort of gelled for you?
Our bonding moments were the moments where we all cracked up together.
Right.
We always had like a little spot where we sat off stage while they were doing what they do,
Right.
setting up the next shot. And that was a very sacred spot, like the five of us together.
Right.
To the point where when the ADs would come and say, okay, they're ready for you, we'd be like,
Right.
so sorry, but we're talking.
Right. Right.
We can't
Wow.
shoot this because
Right.
we're in the middle of a conversation, which I don't typically have. Normally, they say we're ready for you, and I'm already out the door, ready to be on my mark. And in this case, it was like, I don't want to leave this conversation.
And I imagine it's a process, right? Because you drop your kid off at college and you meet the roommate day one, right? And you're walking away going, oh, that roommate seems pretty nice. But you don't know that roommate until, your son or daughter comes home for Thanksgiving. And then you know so much, way much more than you want to know about the roommate. But it's a process. Like you cannot know somebody on day one.
You have to know someone through the big laughs. You have to know someone when they're having a bad day or they're missing their kid or they're having an issue in their life. Or in this case, we just got each other.
Right.
And we all leaned on each other in a really, it felt like an ensemble.
Right.
It was such a luxury.
And it's because
to work with that many women.
Yeah.
And everyone, just like I thought when I started your book, I had in the back of my mind a judgment going into it, which is so unfair, especially given your writing. But people had that judgment about, 5 women working together. Are you nervous? Is it going to be this? Right. And I was kind of like, I think it's going to be fine. It couldn't have been better.
It couldn't have
been more loving and more just creatively fulfilling than to be with these other women. And I see them out in the world and I'm like, whoa,
there she is, right? I know.
You. Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh, I did this, or what are you thinking about that? Or hey, we saw you, Chloe, you look so beautiful on Harper's Bazaar, and you're so cool, and we're so lucky to know you. I mean, there's just a continuous conversation in that way, which is like pretty unusual and special.
That is amazing. Okay, so you seem very connected to your community back in West Virginia.
Yes.
How important are your childhood friendships and then sort of moving on?
I'm kind of like Hollis. I have a best friend from growing up, Katie. We danced together when we were little. We danced together from when we were 3. And at 16, she's really cool. She looks like you, like blonde, beautiful, blue eyes. She was a cheerleader. And I was not cool. And sometime around our sophomore year, we had been together so much, I finally broke through and we became friends.
Oh,
and
good.
we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then I have a best friend from college, again, someone that I danced with there. I have a best friend that I lived with in New York. So I very much mimic Hollis in that way.
Would you have them all on a weekend, Jen? That's the question.
If I have before. There have been instances where I have, and you're different with different friends.
Right,
they
are.
They bring different things out of you. And in this case, it seems like it's just going to be a disaster for Hollis.
Right.
And it kind of is.
It's so interesting because when I came up with the idea, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this thinking, but you just don't realize they're not meant to get along. They don't have to get along.
Yeah.
They only have to get along with you.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes, like with Drew-Ann and Tatum, they're so close to you that they don't like each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's not something I think people really think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to shift and talk about your time on Nantucket. The best month of my life, except for when my children were born, was having you guys on Nantucket filming. You in particular, I'm going to list some of the things that I think / know that you did when you were on Nantucket. So you went to the Whaling Museum
3 times.
3 times. And you went to listen to lectures, which in the 32
How do you
years.
know that?
Because you told me.
Oh.
In the 32 years that I have lived on Nantucket, I have been to 0 lectures.
They're wonderful.
I wasn't even sure there were lectures until you said, I went to 3 lectures, and they give you a sticker. And then you had the stickers on the back of your phone as proof of attending the lectures. So that's something that you did.
Loved
I
it
saw
so
on Instagram, I was on book tour at this point, that you went to Nantucket Looms. And tell me about that trip. So on Nantucket Looms, viewer, listener, it's a working loom and they weave blankets. And Jen went in and tell us what you did.
Well, I mean, anything that is made by hand, I think we just all are going to go back more and more and start to value more and more. The more we get into whatever the world is coming up with, we're going to be more and more like a hand made this, somebody put this table together with their, and right upstairs, first of all, downstairs, you want to buy everything in Nantucket Looms. And it plays a large role in our show.
Yes.
And so I was so excited to go. And then they said, all of this is made upstairs. And,
Can I go see?
Did you ask? Can I please go see?
And
I went up, and they're working on these huge looms, these incredible artists. And it's just like, I want to sit there.
Right.
I want to see what that feels like.
Right.
And they said, if you come back, and I had a little bit of a later call one day, and they were open, and I said, okay, just so you know, I am going to come back. I hope that's all right.
Yeah.
So they had it all set up for me, and I went in and I made like half of a scarf, maybe a little more, which they finished for me.
Right. And do you involve your feet?
Yes.
I've obviously never done, you use your feet and your hands?
Yes, and your brain.
And they show you how to do it.
They should, yeah, of course. I had to be very much babysat through the whole process, and they were so patient with me, and they laughed at me. But yeah, you take your shuttlecock and you go through, and it's a whole thing. And you would love it, Ellen. You live right there.
I know. I should be doing this in all my spare time. You had never weaved or woven. I'm not sure what the past tense is.
I'd never woven.
Before that moment. Had you ever had any desire to weave?
Of course, yeah.
You had.
My kids have done different things like that at camp, but on a smaller scale. But part of me wanted to do it to show it to them, because I feel like I have a very artistic child that I feel like, oh my gosh, that would be something you could do, that you would love. Right. There's a meditative quality to it.
Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, some other things that you did is you went out on the Endeavor and hoisted the sails. Is that true?
True,
okay.
true.
Shout out to the Endeavor. Captain James, grew up with my son Max.
Captain James.
And then you came to my signings. So I sign every Wednesday on Nantucket. You came to the signings and very kindly took pictures with the people in line. Did you go to Hot House Yoga?
A lot. Went to all the different workouts.
All the different workouts. Can you tell me like what your takeaway from Nantucket was, or what were some of your favorite things that you did?
I loved it so much. Ellen, I would spend the month of September there every year of my life if I could. I loved the people. I felt so embraced by the community. Yeah. I loved Murray's. I loved every single thing.
Yes.
And I loved that all of us appeared to be on every book club's bingo card. Yeah. Because all of these women would come and say, we've been looking all over the island for you.
Yeah. And this September was particularly beautiful weather. I mean,
we didn't have a weather issue the entire month. Right. If it rained at night. Yeah. It was like, okay, we're just going to bless this production here.
Right.
Something that really stood out to all of us when we were on Nantucket, and especially to me, is the way that you engage with your readers and fans. It's really amazing. I mean, when you say that you host a signing for the first 100 people who stand in line outside of the bookstore called Mitchell's, of course, and in the basement you have thousands of books, I feel like, that you are signing constantly. Yes. There's so many ways that you make sure that your fans feel connected to Nantucket, to you. They have access. It's just, you're incredible.
Well, thank you. I mean, it is a whole thing. I'm sort of associated with the island of Nantucket. You know, I've written 32 books. 27 of them are set on Nantucket. Some people come, they've read all 27. They live all across the country. I mean, we have people from Illinois and Arkansas and Washington State,
California.
and Oregon.
I met people from all over.
Yes, Arizona, and they come to Nantucket on their anniversary weekend or a bucket list weekend with their girlfriends.
Their women.
Yes. And the number one thing they want to do is they want to get their book signed by me. So I only do it in the summer, but all year round, I'm receiving messages in my inbox like, I'm coming for my mom's 70th birthday. Can you meet us in town? And I used to do it all the time. And then I was like, I can't. Now I can't. Yeah. Now I can't do it. So I set up the signing so that I could meet my readers. And then those people that can't make it to Nantucket, because it is far and hard to get to and expensive.
It is, all of those things.
I go down to the basement and I sign and personalize books that get shipped out from Nantucket across the country. And that way people feel like they have like a little piece of Nantucket arriving in their house.
They really do. I've seen you do it several times down in the basement of Mitchell's.
You were down in the basement. Yep. That is as local as it gets, Jen. You are now a Nantucketer. So let's talk about the role that motherhood plays in Hollis's life. Okay, so she's dealing with something extremely complex. She has lost her husband. She has one daughter, Caroline. Neither of them are really handling the loss well.
They really are not.
They're really not. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you and Harlow worked out that relationship?
Yeah, we met. We had a lunch or something together before we started and spent some time together and had some rehearsal time. Because really what's happened, and gosh, I feel like playing Hollis has made me look at my own life in so many different ways. Like, am I being careful about this? Am I?
Right.
Because there's a conversation they need to have that they're not having.
Right.
They're probably 5. They're probably 10
Right.
big conversations
Right.
they need to have about grief or about ways that they're carrying anger or ways that they've been let down by Matthew or, ways that they're struggling that they're not opening up to each other. They both feel like, I'm struggling, I don't want to burden the other.
Right.
But really, I think they're just afraid. They're afraid of how vulnerable they would have to be honest with each other.
Right. I mean, at one point, Caroline says, you can get another husband. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to get another father. Mm-hmm. And my dad died in a plane crash when I was 16.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so that's exactly how I felt. Mm-hmm. I didn't write that line, Becca did, but I felt like when you lose a parent, a part of your life and of your childhood is gone. Mm-hmm. But it's true when you lose your partner that you could, in theory, get another partner. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you want to add to that? I mean, did you feel that?
Yeah, I don't think that Hollis was in such shock. And I think I don't know, thank God, but I think when you're in that kind of shock, grief, it's not a time where you can always look outside of yourself and see the needs of your child or of people around you. Right. And I think that's what her friends are trying to do. They're trying to be that wake-up call for her. Right. And like, hey, there's something going on here. You're missing a pretty major thing that's happening in your daughter's life. And her daughter, it seems like, is also afraid to burden her mom with what she's going through. So they're just missing each other.
Right. Like the scene in episode 1 where Caroline shows up.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It feels so awkward because you're like, okay, now she's come to me.
Yeah.
And now I've invited all my friends for the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I can't give you the attention that I need to give you because I have all my friends coming. And then she's like, I'll just go. But of course you're like, no, stay. And then Hollis's default, which would be my default.
Let me feed you.
Let me feed you.
Let me feed you.
Let me make you lunch. Yep. That would be exactly what I would do. Food is my love language. If my children are watching this, they all know it. How much of your own parenting did you draw on to portray this relationship?
I mean, Harlow, it's very easy to feel maternal with Harlow. She's a couple years older than my kids. She's such a love, and she's so open to, she's clearly adores her parents and is so open to connection in that way. And so I just saw her and like I could just take her in my arms and take her around with me all day. I just want to put her in my pocket and take care of her, and she's not mine. Yeah. But she's so just open to that connection. And it also, the ways that you hurt your kids, parents were also clueless.
Right.
The ways that my kids have called me out, I feel like that is of all the things in the world, that's where I upset you. Oh my gosh, like we're idiots, and we have to stay curious and open. And I think Hollis gets a little bit defensive. So I do look at her and think, oh my, she's a watch out for me, as we would say. Like I better watch out that I don't come from that place.
Right, exactly. But it is helpful. I found it was helpful writing it because I have kids that are Gen Z, right? And so do you. And so unless you've interacted with someone who's Gen Z on a regular basis, like they are their own breed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are different. The way they were raised with social media and technology and just the world that we live in and the pandemic.
Just emotional availability. They all are so much more articulate about what's going on with them.
Yes.
I think as a generation than we are.
Yes.
We've now had enough therapy and we've lived long enough that it's finally sinking through our brains. But these kids are just like, this is really triggering an abandonment thing. You're like, what?
What? We didn't have the language to stand up for ourselves when we were in high school.
And we wouldn't have had the nuts to even feel that way.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like a very different way that we were
very
raised.
Different.
But it would be interesting. I'm sure that, your parenting and the fact that you're dealing with kids that age every day in your real life, then it probably helped when you were talking.
Oh, for sure.
Because it definitely helped when I was
I don't
writing
think you have to be a parent to play a parent. I think that we all understand what that is, but it's kind of a cheat code because I do understand. I'm like, oh yeah, I get this. I get this argument.
Yeah, exactly. We've all had it. There are so many fabulous scenes in this first pilot episode. What were some of your favorite moments?
I really loved the introduction of Nantucket, like coming in on the ferry and then the sweeping drone shots like out over the bluffs. Yeah. And I'm there with my beautiful, like truly someone I could have an affair with, Ben the dog.
The dog.
He plays Henry. I always swore that I would never fall for another co-star, but I did. and his name is Ben, and he is a dog. And I love him so much.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
So
I
good.
love him. I think he loves me too.
Yeah. He is so good in the show.
He doesn't text me back. I don't know.
I can't believe it. I mean, I love that that's who you fell for. Also, I want to point out on that wonderful sweeping shot over the steamship, my son is standing on the second deck. And every time I look at that shot, I see him and he's got his arms spread. And I'm like, there's Dawson.
He's like Titanic. Dawson was incredible. He worked so hard on our crew.
Yeah.
Also, he just kind of was in general an amazing set PA who seemed to be everywhere at the same time. He knew a lot of people, which made it very handy.
Right.
To have him in charge of background because it was a lot of people who live on the island and thought it would be fun to do once.
Right. I mean, that was the funny thing about the entire show. Some scenes were set on Nantucket, and the ones that were set on Nantucket, Dawson was on set. He is born and raised there. He was born at Nantucket Cottage Hospital.
Oh my gosh.
He went, through the public schools. He knows plus he's so charming. He just knows everybody.
So charming.
One of his strengths was that he could ease the way between the cast and crew and the people that were on Nantucket, because a lot of the time they would see Dawson and be like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not a talent everybody has.
Yeah, don't shoot on Nantucket without Dawson.
Okay, so now we're going to play the game, What's Your 5-Star Weekend? It's a series of rapid fire questions. Okay. I will also answer, but I'm going to take your answer first. Okay, number 1. If you could pick one star to be at your 5-star weekend, who would it be? And it's either Hollis, Tatum, Drew-Ann, Brooke, or Gigi. Just the character.
Drew-Ann.
You would take Drew-Ann.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone is so much trouble.
I know, right?
Tatum. Yeah. Hollis is a big ball of wax. I would take Ben the dog.
You would take the dog. Okay. He's not on the list, but let's go with it. I would take Brooke because I love her character. And I just would have such a good time. Would you rather be the host or a guest?
I could go either way. I'm pretty flexible that way.
Okay, I would have to be the host.
You would?
I clearly have control issues. Okay. Do you want your trip planned by the hour or entirely played by ear?
Somewhere in the middle.
I am definitely planned by the hour.
Oh, really?
That's why I wrote the book, you can tell. Okay. Are you going out to eat or cooking most of your meals?
A combo.
Me too. I'm a combo.
I'm a middle kid, so I'm always gonna. I'm very flexible.
Okay,
you're eldest.
I'm eldest. I love birth order. I love birth order.
I love birth order tells you everything.
It tells you everything.
Like I didn't know you were the eldest, but you are such the eldest.
Yes, absolutely. Because I like to be in control. Yeah. And the funny thing is I have a twin brother. He is 6 minutes younger, so I am actually the oldest, and I am so much the dominant twin. It is hilarious. Okay. After dinner on your first night of your 5-star weekend, what's your ideal activity?
After dinner, Rummy Cube.
Is that a game? Say it again.
Rummy Cube.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
Okay, it's tiles. It's like gin rummy, but it's tiles.
Okay.
We had it on Nantucket. We were all...
And you were all playing it? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Mine would just be turning up the music and doing my dancing. Okay, that sounds like a wonderful 5-star weekend for us both. Jennifer Garner, thank you for joining us.
Ellen. Thank you for everything.
Podcast.
We're so grateful. We had the best time. We love your book.
Oh, you guys are the best. Next up is part 2 of our main event, my conversation with showrunner and writer Becca Brunstetter. We'll be right back after this break. Becca.
Hi, Ellen.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
My pleasure.
So we're kicking this off. I want to talk about the first time you read Five Star Weekend, what you thought of it, how you knew that you wanted to be the one to adapt.
Yeah, well, I actually brought my copy of the 5-Star Weekend to show so you can see all of my...
Oh, look at your notes.
I mean, I fell in love. I fell in love. And it's wet because I brought it with me to Nantucket on our first research trip, and I accidentally dumped a bottle of water all over it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you dropped it in the ocean. Yeah,
But
it is lived in.
I devoured it instantly.
Yeah.
And it was this incredible combination of lightness and levity and warmth, but also depth.
Yeah.
And as you know, I am a big stress baker.
Yeah.
And stress entertainer.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I like to do that I love to do other than writing.
Yeah.
So that really spoke to me.
It's so funny because now that I know you, I'm like, of course Becca would say yes to this. This is like all the things that are right in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And listener/viewer, if you don't know this, Becca is an at-home baking enthusiast.
Indeed.
Right?
It's Hollis, me, and Jen Garner. We're just the same. And you.
Right. Yeah.
All of us. The four of us are just
we're
the same
the
in
four
that way.
Hollises, right?
Yes.
And so you felt it so, intensely, like you, like, oh, I just know. Should we
and
talk?
that's rare to feel as a writer. I mean, if you're lucky as a TV writer, you've been doing it for a while, you get sent a lot of stuff to adapt. And sometimes it's a feeling of, I guess I could see this. I guess I could make myself love this or find my way through this. But I just feel like I don't want to take on anything that I don't feel like I'm emotionally connected to, that I don't feel like I could do well. And I just saw it and felt it so instantly. And I devoured it like people do with your books.
I also want to point out that when we did the pitch to Peacock, you texted me and you're like, I'm going to bring food. And so tell everyone what you made.
You must. I made Hollis's, let's get it right, rosemary, garlic, bacon, pecans.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
From the book. I made those. I've now made them many times because I then created a pattern. There was then became an expectation that I made them for every pitch, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I made those, and then I think I made.
Did you make cookies?
I made molasses cookies.
Yeah.
Because it was wintertime.
Right.
My son, it's the only cookie that he's obsessed with molasses cookies. So I was like 2 birds, 1 stone.
Right, exactly.
Bake for my son, bake for the Peacock people.
Right.
And I remember I made them with sorghum molasses that I had shipped to me from North Carolina.
Wow.
Because I wanted to put a little bit of me in it, which is very Hollis.
Exactly.
These are the things that I obsess over instead of working on the pitch itself.
Right. No, the very specificity of and this is special molasses in these molasses cookies.
Exactly.
And guess what, listener? It worked because
Here we are.
Here we are.
We
are now doing the companion podcast.
Yes.
So
Look
the
at
question, I want to sort of start by saying, I've seen all the episodes and it feels wholly of the book. So it feels very on brand. I feel like my readers who've enjoyed the book will be super enthusiastic about this adaptation. That said, there are differences, right?
Yep.
And I, in my Hollywood life, fully believe in the word adaptation.
Yep.
I know that a book like this does not automatically transfer word to word to the screenplay, right?
Yep.
Talk to me about how you even remotely start adapting, a 400-page novel.
Yeah. Well, the headline is just take what's internal and make it external, right? So in the book, the stars are dealing with these big things privately.
Okay.
Off in their own spaces, in their own rooms, which stays very active and dynamic because of your beautiful writing. But on screen, that would get very boring.
Right.
You just need these stories to intersect. You need them to talk to each other. So that's where you sort of start the work in the writer's room. How do we take what's beautiful about this story and just make sure it's active and it's playing out in a dynamic way?
Yeah.
But you also want it all to come from character, right? You want a story that comes from character, and I inherited some incredible characters from you. So we really had a blast in the room. It felt like an embarrassment of riches in terms of story because they're just such great characters. You just want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
And they're all dealing with such profound and relatable stuff.
Yeah.
So
I love the opening. So the opening on the Today Show.
yeah.
Right? Which is not in the book, right?
Correct.
Hollis goes to the Today Show. She's making the onion dip. Shout out to Bev Cooks because that's her recipe. And just, you know, and then your dialogue there is so good in that moment with Jenna is so tense, right? Because it's like, okay, we're on live television. Is she going to fall apart?
Yeah.
And then it's so organic the way her assistant Chelsea's like, you know, my mom's friend Linda had this happen and she like had her friends, and then how the 5-star weekend evolves from that.
Yeah.
It all feels really organic, but also it moves us to Nantucket really quickly.
Totally.
Let's take a look at that scene.
How can you cut these onions without crying?
Well, my husband just died, so I can't do anything without crying. Sorry.
No. Okay, I know what a difficult time you and your family have had. Yeah, it's been really difficult. Okay. And we'll be back right after this.
I'm sorry.
That was, you know, a year and a half of trial and error
Right, it
development. You know, I think my first draft of the pilot was more like the book, again, because I love your book so much. It was more, we meet her when she's baking and in her space, but it was Molly Ambrose, who works at the studio, who was just giving notes on, I think, even like an outline, saying, what if there's like a public meltdown of some kind on the Today Show? And it kind of grew from there. So again, like, it's just like months of like collaboration and how can we make this better and how can we make this more interesting while honoring the book, because that's really important to me. You always want I think in a perfect world, the fans of the book feel heard and cared for and excited to be a part of it.
Yes.
Right? But then they also see it go beyond what they read.
Right. I feel as though my readers will not remember that actually wasn't a scene in the book. That's how organic it felt to me. And I'm thinking to myself, should I have started it that way?
Oh my gosh.
That's how you know it's a good adaptation. If I'm like, there were a bunch of moments where I'm like, wait, I should have written it that way. Oh, well, that's perfect. Because that's how you know that you've done a fantastic.
That's the dream. And then there were a couple times in the writer's room where I would remember, oh, Ellen described this so well. Or I remember loving the dialogue in this Hollis Gigi scene or whatever.
Right.
So we would go back to
and
it.
look at it. Yes. How about that?
Like the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does the Bible say about that? Let us go look. But really, you have to kind of put it aside because you don't want to be in a place where you're limiting yourself, you know, well, the book did it that way.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Right? You need to let it be something else. So you have to put it aside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I imagine there are writers who are a little bit more persnickety about how certain characters are done and portrayed, and I am not like that. Because I'm all about is it good television?
Yeah.
And episode 1 of the show is one of the most compelling opening scenes I've ever seen. I mean, it's so amazing. So one of the changes I am going to mention is the dog. And for those of you at home, here's a fun behind-the-scenes story. The animal shelter on Nantucket in the summer of 22 asked me to donate a character in my book that was either a dog or a cat named after a dog or cat that the owner would then bid on. So it went for a lot of money. The dog was a female named Henrietta. And for the show, we changed it to a male dog named Henry, and I think the breed also changed.
Indeed.
But can you talk a little bit about casting Henry?
It was the best day ever. We were in prep, we were in pre-production, and there was a lot going on. But on this one particular day, we were doing 2 things. We were meeting dogs in the office.
Yes.
Having dogs come and do chemistry reads with Jen Garner.
Okay.
Which literally happened. We actually had a Zoom meeting with one dog.
Oh, it's so hard to get to know a dog over Zoom.
I know. And then Ben, who played Henry, came in person, obviously. So he, of course, had a leg up.
Okay.
And then the second half of the day, we were meeting with potential food stylists whose job it was to make us BLTs.
Right.
So the day was petting dogs and eating sandwiches.
Wow. I have a question about the dog having a different name. Okay, so is it confusing for the dog to be called a different name?
Oh, that is such a good question. Well, you would have to ask his trainer.
Okay, I'm so interested just in
I
Hollywood
feel
dogs
like-
in general.
Well, I feel like they called him Ben.
Ben. But in in the show, it's for surely Henry,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
But so Ben
But
and
I
Hen,
think maybe,
they called him Ben.
correct.
And it's only
What
Jen.
you're not hearing off camera is his trainer doing putting peanut butter on Jen Garner's foot so that the dog will lick her foot. You know,
Okay,
there's all
gotcha.
kinds of nonsense
Okay.
going on.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's such a good question. I do think they call him Ben
Yeah.
when they're trying to get him to do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd have to ask Henry.
And it's Ben,
We'd have
Hen,
to add another
Ben,
podcast.
Hen, and Jen. So it
Yep,
was all,
exactly.
he probably just maybe heard the sound.
Sweet,
I don't know.
sweet dog. And he, made everyone's day so happy this summer. Every time he was on set, everyone would just go visit him and sweetest.
I love everything about this. And you know what? I don't have a lot of books that have dogs in them because I'm so busy that I don't have a dog. And so it's not part of my daily life. And because it's not part of my daily life, I don't write it into my novels often.
How did he end up in 5-star then?
So
How did
because
she- oh,
the
of
way
course.
he ended up in 5-star is because they asked me to auction it off. And I thought, okay, Hollis could have a dog. That would make her so relatable and add to the story, which it really does.
Don't forget you also auctioned off the naming of Jack.
And I also
Right.
auctioned off the naming of Jack Finnegan.
You did. And then real life Jack Finnegan came to see us on set.
And the real
and met
life
Tim
Jack
Oliphant.
Finnegan came to set and got to
Layers.
meet Timothy Oliphant.
Indeed.
Okay, this is all just crazy behind the scenes. I want to end our conversation with the cliffhanger of episode 1, where we find out that Gigi is in fact Matthew's lover. So what was the decision on your part as far as having it be right at the end of episode 1?
It felt like such a gift. I just felt like this is the perfect end of a pilot. How dynamic. I mean, you just need to know what's going on.
Right.
And also my hope was that I have such empathy for the characters in the book, for
Yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
even Gigi. And I wanted the show to extend the same empathy to all the characters.
Sure.
So my hope is that at the end of the pilot, it's not just, oh my God, when is Hollis going to find out? What does this mean? It's the loaded gun of the show, right?
Right.
But also, I really care about all these people. I actually kind of care about Gigi.
Yeah,
How is this? This
course.
feels so complicated. So
Yeah.
it felt rich in that way. And it's always exciting to find a TV show with an engine that's so powerful that isn't like a dead body.
I agree.
Right?
I
So
agree.
it has that to it.
I
which
would
is
say
really
there's
nice.
no dead bodies in this show except that, of course, Matthew dies.
Yes.
But other than that, it's not a it's
Everyone
not a
lives.
murder. You know what I mean? And so you're right. So the cliffhanger, and it is really powerful. When I originally wrote the book, I was going to have the reveal of Gigi's relationship to Hollis come at the end. And as I was writing it, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. I'm like, what is
The
wrong
end of the
with
book,
this book?
you find out?
So
Gigi and Matthew?
This was my first
Wow.
draft, right? And I'm like, it's not feeling right. It's not feeling right. How can I fix this? And I remember very distinctly, it was August 1st of 2022. I got a light bulb went on, and I'm like, I should just say it at the beginning.
Yep.
And the reader knows, but Hollis doesn't know. And it creates, if possible, even more suspense.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not like wondering who is Gigi. We know who
Right.
she is. And we're so,
Yeah.
feeling so much anxiety about it.
Yeah.
And so I think
I
that
love that
is
so
really
much.
accomplished.
And it's also just such a good writing lesson.
Yeah.
That we forget and learn and forget and learn that oftentimes your end is your beginning.
Yeah.
Your end is your beginning.
Yeah.
And you have to go through the whole process of writing the version where the end is the end.
Yeah.
And then you learn.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the beginning.
And I hope so. I hope that everybody who's been listening to this conversation understands that, great pieces of literature or shows, they don't always come out right
Absolutely
the first
not.
time. It's editing and thinking about it and pondering and changing it and revising and rewriting. And that's definitely true for me. And now
Yeah.
we know it's also.
So I'm proud to say that Brooke says caca in every version of the pilot I've ever.
It's so funny. It's so
My
it's
life's
so
work.
funny. That is your
Caca.
life's work.
yeah.
I
Some
love
things
it.
stay the same.
It's okay. We're just gonna need a safe word with you.
For when I talk too much? I love it. Caca! The safe word.
Becca, thank you.
Thank
this
you.
was so
Thanks for having
lovely. So it's not goodbye, but see you
It is
soon.
hello and see you soon.
See you soon.
Thanks for having me.
I'm thrilled to welcome you to Book Talk, presented by On the Rocks. Every episode, I'm going to help myself to a delicious cocktail, and I'll answer questions about the 5-star weekend from book clubs across the country. Today I'm having a Cosmopolitan. They're one of my favorite drinks. Now, let's see who our first question is from.
Hi, Ellen. It's
West Village Book Club
coming to you live from the West Village.
Okay, Ellen, from what we've seen on your cringe cooking series, we know you are very skilled in the kitchen, but we wanted to know a little bit more about you crafting Hollis's character and why you chose to make her so immersed in the world of food. Thanks, Ellen. We love you.
Thanks, Ellen.
Hi, West Village Book Club. You guys know I love you. I follow you on Instagram. You guys are absolutely the best and so stylish. So in answer to your question, Hollis originally was not a food blogger. I started out in my first draft having her be sort of a woman mom guru called Every Woman. And the draft was not working. And I thought, what is wrong here? And then I realized that I needed to have her be interested in something that I'm interested in. So it's write what you know, but also write what you love. And as any of my readers know, I love to write about food. So I made Hollis a food blogger. Thank you so much for asking that excellent question. I can't wait to answer more questions throughout the season. That's it for this first episode, but that's not all. You can watch or listen to the second episode of this podcast right now when I'm joined by the wonderful Chloë Sevigny. Don't forget, you can stream all episodes of the 5-Star Weekend now, only on Peacock. And if you're not ready to leave Nantucket just yet, we're dropping 2 new podcast episodes every Thursday. So be sure to subscribe and follow the 5-Star Weekend official podcast so you don't miss a moment. And as always, if you like what you're seeing and hearing, leave a rating and review on your podcast player of choice. And if you aren't watching us right now, why aren't you? You can watch us on Peacock or find us on YouTube. I'm Elin Hilderbrand. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.